Hello everyone. Welcome to the DigiTech Dialogue. I am Arpit Gupta. The DigiTech Dialogue series is an initiative of ET Government, the Economic Times. This is an interactive show with bureaucrats on different milestones in their digital transformation journey. In this series, senior government officers give an insight of digital innovations and use of technologies by their department or ministry. Today, on behalf of the ET Government, the Economic Times, I welcome Dr. B Sundar, Special Secretary, Department of Information Technology, Electronics and Communications, Government of Andhra Pradesh. He is our esteemed guest for the DigiTech Dialogue today. It is indeed a great pleasure to meet you and have you on today's show, Dr. B Sundar. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Economic Times, for inviting me to this occasion. Thank you.
For the audience, Dr. Sundar Balakrishna is a 1998 batch officer of Indian Forest Services of Andhra Pradesh cadre. He holds a bachelor degree in engineering in computer science. He is a master's in science in forestry. He is a master's in business administration with finance concentration from Indian Institute of Management, Indore. He is a PhD in economics area from the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. He is a visiting faculty at the Indian Institute of Management, Indore, Lucknow, and Trichy, and he teaches microeconomics, environmental and natural resources economics, economics of network industries, and regulatory economics. He also teaches forest economics to the forest ranger trainees in the State Forest Academy. I once again welcome you, Dr. B. Sundar. As we see, the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic has badly hit the country. People are struggling for essential resources like medicines, hospital beds, oxygen, etc. However, all frontline workers, including doctors, paramedical staff, and policemen, are working 24/7 with the same dedication to save lives of people. We salute them and appreciate their contribution. Dr. Sundar, your opening remarks about the current pandemic situation in the country. Over to you.
The IT department is a supporting department to all other service departments in the state, and our contribution to runs across time and geographic zones. For example, we have to keep the entire internet infrastructure up and running. We cannot relax even during these times because a lot of initiatives are there from the health department on telemedicine. We have to interact and ensure a constant flow of information between the civil supplies, the medical supplies, the civil administration, and the police department. So that way, the IT department and the electronics department has been categorized as a essential services department. We have teamed up with the IT associations and the electronic associations of our state so that these small nitty-gritties at the field level are taken care of. That said, the IT department and its officers, of course, you're right, compared to the dangers and the efforts exerted by frontline staff like the police, the medical and the paramedical profession, our contributions are not that cutting edge.
Dr. Sundar, considering the rapid shift to the digital platforms, how technology can prove to be a boon for the governments and the public sector functioning?
In the non-COVID times, yes, with some investments in digital infrastructure, like say take the example of video conferencing. We have video conferencing facilities across all the mandals and the mandal level officials, or at one go, we are able to help our CM office or any other political head to address and ensure that the message reaches to them, which is quite important because data is oil in any governance structure, whether it is corporate or in the government. And telecommunication and electronics infrastructure, when we use it this way, ensures quick flow of information. This is not peculiar to Andhra Pradesh, but it runs across all the other states. In Andhra Pradesh, there are certain other extra features which which are worth mentioning. Uh, Instead of going in for a purely uh, a tech initiative, the government has adopted a two-pronged approach where the importance of people are also stressed. Earlier, we had a commercial project called the Citizen Services Delivery, where around 7 to 8,000 franchisee agents of the state used to offer citizen services to every nook and corner of our state. This was the vision, but it had its own issues because since it was a commercial model, we ended up with having a lot of citizen services centers in well-populated mandals and well-populated villages, and the inclusivity took a back shift. So to address this gap, the government in the last 2 to 2.5 years adopted a tectonic shift. They instead went in for the Grama and the Ward Sachivalayam project. Basically, in every Gram Panchayat, we had a government building where 6 to 7 officers of representing the various departments that interface with the citizen are appointed by the government. In the sense, these are young graduates who have started their service and wanted to contribute. We had a entrance exam for them, and we recruited nearly 1.5 to 2 lakh Sachivalayam officers in the first go. These officers, each of them represented a different department. Coming to a rural citizen, what are all the departments that interface with his or her life? One is land revenue, so we had a officer for land revenue, then public health, then sewage, then environment, city. So 6 to 7 departmental officials sit there. And we also had a ward volunteer or a Grama volunteer who is attached to 50 houses in the rural countryside or 100 houses in the urban setting. So the work of this ward volunteer was to visit each and every household attached to him or her and ensure that the government services are delivered directly at the doorstep. It could be as simple as the payment of electricity bill. We wanted people to stop coming to offices, so we had this volunteer system, and it is a good success. The hit the government took was on the huge salary bill, but we said yes, that is okay, because we are ensuring that even citizens who are left out of the digital benefits are now getting covered. Going forward, we wanted these ward Sachivalayams to double up as internet and work from home centers. So for that purpose, we also have books, digital data centers, 6 to 7 terminals, which have terminals for offering R, for offering Python. We have the entire interactive development environment in place for each of these workstations. So we have 15,000 Gram Sachivalayams delivering these services to all the citizens of our state. As a rough benchmark, prior to this Gram Sachivalayam, the ratio was we were serving only 55% of our citizens, so 45% were out. So in these 2 years, we were able to notch up that percentage by another 7. That is 62% inclusivity, and still there are miles and miles to go. But in the meanwhile, because this COVID hit us, we all, and since AP, it has a tradition of being a tech-savvy state with a lot of workers in the IT sector who came back to their hometowns and who wanted a work environment to be enabled in their small towns. So these Gram Sachivalayams, we envisage it to be doubled up as work from home centers, where we are assuring them complete and good internet connectivity, because that's extremely important. Then we are also ensuring that all the data sets, their gateway to the external world in the form of email communications, or if they want to do some projects, they require the entire IT and the software ecosystem with them. For example, somebody wants to do a project in Python, somebody wants to do a project in R. We have the entire ecosystem ready for them. We have a Kaggle account in each of this internet center. So that was our vision. We have now given us a proof of concept. This kind of a library we have opened up in one of the gram search volumes, and we hope to replicate it across all the 15,000 gram search volumes. And finally, the service model we have adopted is the Kubernetes. The Kubernetes technology allows us to code less and put all the services in neat buckets so that there is very little coding work to do, but also ensuring good redundancy in the processes. So
Thank you, Dr.
that
Sundar.
is how we have been using certain aspects of technology, married it with the human elements, and ensuring that the inclusivity issues are also addressed.
You very briefly told us how the Andhra Pradesh government has leveraged the technology to transform workplaces and facilitate efficient service delivery, and also data protection and cost optimization. Sir, here I would also like to understand, with uh, with this pandemic going away, do you feel this hybrid working model, uh, the way you have explained, Andhra Pradesh government has adopted, would continue to work?
Yes, even after the pandemic, we are expecting that the gig economy to have its full flow, because the gig economy began even before the pandemic. What we did, the COVID gave us an opportunity to see how best we can help the freelancing consultancy workers, not only in the IT domain, but also in the non-IT domains, to help. And of course, the short term vision was a bit greedy, in the sense we wanted to facilitate only workers from our state doing projects, whether it is outside our AP or outside the country, it doesn't matter. But the only constraint we require is that the person should be working from any of the locations in Andhra Pradesh. So that way we were greedy. That is because we wanted all the revenues and the tax benefits that comes with it to flow into the state exchequer. And, and that is how we have designed our policy. And going forward, even without the COVID pandemic, I definitely see that there is a lot of opportunity for IT consultants and other consultants from the non-IT domains to benefit from this technological innovation.
Sir, when it comes to technology implementation, uh, what possible challenges do you feel the government would face in the implementation of emerging technologies like cloud, AI, IoT, etc.?
Once we talk about new and emerging technologies, none of us, including the private sector, are sure about the price points. Suppose you want to do an emerging technology project, maybe employ blockchain in land records, or maybe employ the blockchain technology in maintaining health records, or try to install a IoT device for helping the fishing and the aqua farmers. All that, there are two aspects to it. One, not no sufficient investigation is being done to see whether this can be done in a much more cheaper manner, because we do not have counter examples in other states. Usually, it is one private sector entrepreneur or somebody from abroad who has a bright idea who comes with this project and expects the government to do the project funding. And nowhere the government has an example to look back upon or to ensure that this solution is not as costly as that which can be provided without any of these interventions. The Gram Sachwalem example is a very good example of this kind of initiative. We did not use very high-end technologies. All we did was to ensure that there are people to help the rural citizen who is digitally illiterate to upload applications and receive the benefit at his or her doorstep, which worked wonders. There are similarly, look, all the technologies we are talking about in government, it need not be high-end. They are all very simple technologies, but the challenge comes in volumes. It is, we recently initiated the Raitu Bharosa Kendras. We hope and envision these to be one-stop shop centers for the farmers. They should get fertilizers, they should get agricultural information, pricing information, they should have fertilizers, merchants, and other trade people right into the ecosystem. So it was supposed to be a one-stop shop for this right called Raitu Bharosa Kendras. Raitu is farmer, Bharosa is assurance, Kendra are centers. So here too, all we did was to offer these services on a mobile app, on a laptop, and also on a feature phone. You see, offering a high-end service on a feature phone is also challenging. You see, you have to have all the smart features in a feature phone, which the farmers usually they do for sending SMS and all that. So all our real-time informations have to be channelized through SMS services, which is again adding to the cost because we have to buy these SMS services from CDAC, the Center for Development of Advanced Computing. So the solutions are expensive. And if you talk about high-end emerging technologies, for anything to run, you need a good internet backbone. And though Andhra Pradesh is one of the top performing states in IT, still, as I am talking to you now, around 30 to 31% of our population who are in the interiors of our countryside and in the agency areas are not having access to internet. So when we are not able to provide 20 Mbps of internet to these people and ensure that the benefits flow, then the idea of having a solution from, say, artificial intelligence or IoT or blockchain may not be that cost effective. But yes, you have a point. It can be used in urban centers. And 2 or 3 applications we have done. In fact, we have used the IBM Watson AI tool for predicting and helping us with the cybersecurity threats. So that way it has been of limited help. We have also initiated a project for helping the aqua farmers with the Internet of Things device. The farmer need not physically go and collect the samples because it will be all interior and we need it in a timely manner. So this IoT device ensures collection at the right intervals, sending these samples to the labs at the right interval and getting the lab results also in the correct time span. So that way it has helped farmers in 2 or 3 districts. So these are all some of the examples I can quote from our state. But on the whole, the basic challenge is to provide strong internet facilities to all the interior countryside in our state.
And I think besides the internet connectivity, there is one more important thing, that is capacity building and training. So my next question to you is how the Andhra Pradesh government is looking forward to partner with the private players to bridge the technology gap and aiding the government in capacity building.
For capacity building initiatives, especially in the IT domain, the department has 2 educational arms. One is the Andhra Pradesh ITE Academy, and another is the International Institute of Digital Technologies with headquarters at Tirupati. In fact, if you get down from the airport, the first building you will encounter is the campus of the International Institute of Digital Technologies, which offers a 11-month program in some of the emerging technologies like cybersecurity, data sciences. We are also going to launch AI and ML in the coming few semesters. So these are all, in a year you will have around 50 to 100 professionals who are trained in this high-end technology intensely. But how about the rest of the other students who come out from the engineering colleges of our state? Because they are well grounded with the university syllabus, but the industry requires something more. Perhaps a dose of communication skills, perhaps some more help, some more efforts on certain industry cutting edge technologies. For example, Oracle, these people, they do not require engineers. All they require is a science graduate. They will give them some 6 to 9 months of training and ensure that these people are useful to them in their organizations. So what is the work we are doing for helping to build capacities there? That is where the IAP Idea Academy comes in. It partners with all these industrial organizations like Oracle, IBM, National Instruments, so on and so forth, buys all their educational content, uses all their faculty, and sends these faculty or makes this information online for students who are enrolled in the AP IT Academy. So the students have a bouquet of services after their third year, maybe in the second part of their third year. They have a host of these surveys, a host of these offerings from the industry, which help them to show up their skills. We also have a tie-up with the Indian School of Business for a technology entrepreneurship program. It runs for 1.5 years. So this I'm talking about students. For the government officers, they also require capacity building because ultimately they will be delivering the services in the e-format to the citizens. So there we have a steady kind of as I was telling you, we have around 1.5 lakh workforce who have been recently recruited in the Gram Sachivalaya project, who are well versed with operating tabs, operating smart devices, interoperabilities between the mobile and the smart. They are very good at that. So that way, we are ensuring that a good digitally literate workforce is there, stationed in every nook and corner of our state. This workforce has been very useful even during our COVID times in arranging supplies, in ensuring that the vaccines information is available to people. It is not fully operational in the sense that the problems are all, I cannot claim that the problems are not there, but to a large extent, these people have been there and helping us out in our daily administration.
Sir, Andhra Pradesh being the pioneer state has always been at the forefront while it comes to implementation of new technologies. Are you also looking at implementing the robotics or drone technology in some or other departments?
Robotics and drone has been widely employed by the police department. Even our we have a Andhra Pradesh Space Application Center, which is a part of the IT department. It is also uses drone technology to collect information on vehicles carrying minerals. See, vehicles carrying minerals from quarry areas to their destination points. We use a certain kind of a drone technology to capture the information. The police and civil administration also do employ drones. We have a real-time government society which takes care of all these operations, and they have employed drones by the dozens to ensure that crime is minimized, to track down crimes, to help people in distress. Yes, we have used drones quite a lot. Robotics, not much, I should be frank, but drones, we have copious applications in e-government.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sundar. With lots of data generation and rapid digitization, the government needs state-of-the-art technologies and tools to optimize their working. So how are you ensuring the safety of your data, and what all cybersecurity initiatives have been undertaken by the government?
Our strategy for this is two-pronged. One is we have our AP State Data Center where we have mandated that all the departments and all the organizations which receive government finance should house their data in this AP State Data Center. We have a data center and a disaster recovery center also to help us with redundancy. That said, once all the data is housed in the state data center, we have a common protocol, including like perimeter and other kind of a protocols for ensuring that the data is safe and the data does not get leaked to the outside center. This is one strategy. Where we are facing a challenge is prior to the bifurcation in 2015, our state data center, we had a unified state data center in Hyderabad. And those were the days when National Informatics Center was also our partner in several mega projects for people, like those applications relating to revenue records, applications relating to the civil supplies department. All this data is kept in the state data center at Hyderabad. So to migrate them from Hyderabad to our center, state data center in Amravati, required a lot of expensive, sometimes expensive, but it is more human resource intensive operations because we had to station people both at Hyderabad and at other places, so it was becoming expensive. So these were some of the immediate challenges. Why we were insisting that all the data should be housed in the state data center at Amravati was for a simple reason that we could protect all the data in one uh, in we could bring all the data center in one place and ensure that the cybersecurity protocols are applied uniformly. This is one aspect of cybersecurity. The second aspect of cybersecurity is we also have to provide this as a service to all the participating departments. We have around 370 to 380 HODs, and each of them, one way or the other, they have a website, they have a mobile app, they have their services online, and to ensure that their websites information does not get leaked or somebody is not posting unnecessary information on their websites. We have the AP Cybersecurity Operations Center, AP SOCs, which is administered by the ITE&C department. We have a full-fledged team of cybersecurity analysts and cybersecurity officers who monitor these websites on a 24/7 basis using quite advanced tools. Now, here is where some tools from machine learning are employed. I was already talking about the IBM Watson. So here was one such visible application of artificial intelligence here to keep monitoring the websites of all the departments, ensuring that there are no malicious attacks, ensuring that there is no denial of service, ensuring that there are no hackers because many of them involve payments. So even if there are some untoward incidents, we immediately inform the participating departments to rectify it through their in-house teams. So far, we have been able to identify 80 to 90 such incidents, and many of them have been immediately redressed by the concerned departments. So that way, one is to have everything in the data center, other is to have a cybersecurity operations center to take care of the departmental websites. This is the strategy we have adopted for our cybersecurity.
Yes, very well explained, Dr. Sundar. Dr. Sundar, if I talk about the second wave of COVID-19 in the current scenario, so it has taught us a lot of lessons, and technology has proved to be a boon in many cases. As the country is gearing up for the third wave, what preparations should healthcare and IT department should undertake so that the situation doesn't get worse like the second wave has badly hit the country? What lessons do you feel the country has learned?
It's a futuristic question. The only response I can think of at this juncture is that all of us should should not be affected by the corona pandemic because we are the most important resources. And if officers and cutting edge staff, if they get affected, then the whole chain breaks. So from the IT side, yes, you have technology to remotely deliver health services. You have technology even to deliver groceries from the kirana shops through WhatsApp and through simple technology we do have. But what what more can be done from the IT side? What more can be done from the government side? And this juncture seems to be quite a blank for me also. Perhaps sometimes I keep thinking as an individual person, but not as an officer, using all these machine learning techniques, is there a way where we can help find the medical community with a cure, not a vaccine? Vaccine has come, and one never knows whether it has the desired impact or not. But a cure is a different matter. A cure is something like if you have a cold, you take Avel, it goes away. That's it. You forget about it. Something similar to that. Is there a way our IT can help in assessing all the? It takes time. Assessing the effect of a medicine takes time. So IT can help in quickening these processes. And I have been reading up many journals in Lancet to help if we can contribute in that way. But so far, I have not been able to find any impactful contribution from our side of this.
Sir, do you feel that innovations and startups at the grassroots level can help in this situation, and we should promote them, we should nurture them, giving them exposure of working on ground zero?
Our experience with startups and innovations have again not been that fruitful. Out of enthusiasm, we had selected a handful of them, provided them with some funds, but most of them proved to be fly by the night operators without any tangible outcomes. So we are not that sanguine about startups and entrepreneurs being good solutions at this point of time, especially to fight a highly organized pandemic like the COVID-19.
A very general question, sir. A lot of innovations, a lot of initiatives, mobile apps, citizen-centric services through web portals are being started by almost all the state governments and center government as well. But for the adoption at the last mile, what has been the lessons? What has been the experience of yours while you are working in a state like Andhra Pradesh? What should be done more to take these services to the last mile?
One pointer regarding this apps, especially for COVID. Each state designed a app, and there were no interoperability. In the sense, the app that was done in Maharashtra and the information that was generated in from Maharashtra, I'm taking Maharashtra as example, but it applies to several other states also. We were not able to leverage. That was because we did not, even for the app, we were not having a standard protocol for development. In information technology, we have the software development lifecycle, SDLC, we call it for short, where you have a standard set of procedures to be followed for beginning from the business requirements, coding, testing, and all that. And there are at least 70 to 80 versions of the app currently flying about in the country without any standard protocols for that. So perhaps it is high time that we standardize them so that the information generated there could be useful to all the states here also. That is one gap which I find, and hopefully we will rectify it in time, because once we are aware of it, we will be working on. So we are already working on.
Now we are almost at the end of the episode. So, Dr. Sundar, I would like to ask you one last question. What sort of policy reforms need to be brought in to ensure maximum and faster absorption of innovations and the latest technologies in the SOPs?
The best way for a technology to be adopted by any government is to see whether it is successful in a similar context elsewhere. I was telling you how we adopted Kubernetes for our citizen services delivery. That was because it worked very well in several settings, not only in the global, but also in the domestic ecosystem. So once you see a cost-effective example working in a similar setup, then the government will not have any hesitation to adopt it. So my only request for the private sector is, before coming and advocating a solution to us, kindly provide it as a kind of a use case where it has been deployed somewhere else and where similar results have been seen. And once the government is convinced, yes, that it can be done, then the next step of standardizing and optimizing so that less can be done at a less cost can be explored. So in one line, if I want to say, it means we need use case examples for adoption. Use cases will generally help in quickly adopting the technology.
One last question that you gave me hint. What are your priorities for the current fiscal 21-22?
From the state's point of view,
Yes.
we wanted we here the my response will be nuanced because I am talking something very specific to the state of AP. After bifurcation from the erstwhile United AP, we are still struggling, sort of, for having a vibrant IT and the electronics ecosystem within the state. So our next short and medium term vision will be to come out with a blueprint for attracting investments from the semiconductor industry, from the electronics industry, and also from the IT side. I was telling you that is where our push for the gig economy is also coming in. We wanted all the people who have flown out from Andhra Pradesh to come back and contribute to the revenue of our state. So the next 2 to 3 years will completely be on focusing on this aspect. How best to have a good and vibrant IT and electronic sector. Right now, we have a clustered approach. Tirupati, some parts in Visakhapatnam, some parts here around the world. Mainly, they are leveraging their nearness and proximity to Bangalore and Chennai. But we want either this to take off in a very big way or to have a uniform kind of a development so that all the districts are on par when it comes to IT and electronics growth.
Thank you, Dr. B Sundar. It was really a great interaction with you. Our sincere thanks to you for accepting our invitation and making today's show wonderful. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ET, for giving me this opportunity.
For the audience, the DigiTech Dialogue series is an initiative of ET government, the Economic Times. This is an interactive show with bureaucrats on different milestones in their digital transformation journey. In this series, senior government officials give an insight of digital innovations and use of new technologies by their department or ministry. Each week, we present a new guest and discuss the digital transformation journey and a future roadmap for digital India. Thank you so much.